Welcome to Doors to Hope and Healing, an inside look at the many facets of work that is happening at the Department of Children and Families, between our staff, the families we serve, and our community partners. My name is Jacqueline Ford. I have had the honor of working for the department for almost 30 years. And although I may be familiar with many of the topics we bring to you, I have invited experts in those fields to help us dispel the myths and misconceptions that can often be barriers to our work. Join us as we open our doors and invite you to have a seat at our table. Angelique, thank you so much for being on Doors to Hope and Healing. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
This television show that we have is really helping to dispel the myths and misconceptions that happen in the public about DCF. So any opportunity we have to kind of dispel those myths and misconceptions and to shed a light on the department, we do so. But the show is also an opportunity to celebrate our helpers and those people in the community, our warriors who help us strengthen our families and provide a safe haven for the children that we serve. So it's a pleasure to have you here to talk about your role with our department. But before we get started, can you just introduce yourself to our viewers?
Sure. I'm Angelique Croasdale Mills, and I live in Bloomfield, and I am the mother of two children, a 19-year-old, soon to be 20-year-old, and a 7-year-old, soon to be an 8-year-old.
Wow, so you're busy.
Yeah.
And what do you do for work?
I actually work at the City of Hartford as a senior project manager, work with individuals with HIV and AIDS in a 3-county area, Hartford, Talon County, and Middlesex counties.
Wow. Yeah, well, I know Offset, we were talking a little bit about your work, and you know, there's no doubt that you're a people person in your professional life and also your personal life.
Absolutely.
So we've invited you here to talk about your journey with the Department of Children and Families. So tell us a little bit about, you're a landlord and you own an apartment building?
I own several in the City of Hartford with my twin sister, Angeline.
Wow, so it's Angeline and
Angelique. Yes.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
Your mom and dad named you both beautifully. So tell me about your apartments and you coming to meet this one particular family many, many years ago.
So, you know, these apartments are in Hartford and they're multifamily homes, and Patty's mom was a tenant for many, many years in one of our apartments. She had to live on the 3rd floor, and we at the time lived on the 1st and 2nd floor, my twin sister and I. And that's how we came into contact with Patty's mom.
So you got to know her, and she had a lot of children. Did she have more children? She didn't have Patty at the time that you met her.
So at the time she had 2 girls at the time, and then she moved away and went to Florida, relocated to Florida, where she had 5 more children. And then when she got pregnant with Patty, she actually called my sister and I, who were together at the time, and asked us, what should I name her? And we both said Lily Rose. So all along we thought we had named her Lily Rose, but came to find out later on that she had actually named her Padma Lily. So during the adoption proceedings, I chose to add back the Rose to Lily. To get the original name, and because the Padma was already a name that she had became accustomed to, we kept the Padma. But for short, we call her Patty.
So when the mom reached out to you from Florida, did you know that she was pregnant with another child?
Yes, we knew she was pregnant with another child.
And did she have supports in Florida? Is that why she moved out of state?
I believe she moved with a boyfriend at the time to Florida. And at the time, again, when she moved there, she only had 2 kids. So all the remaining 5 kids were born in Florida.
They were born there. So without, giving any more information about her personal life, can you talk about what your relationship with her was when she lived with you? I know that, I learned a little bit about your story and learned that you had developed a friendship.
Yes. We were very supportive. Not just only me, but my entire family was supportive of her. And we tried to, support the children because, she was young. young, and the children needed some structure really earlier on, and we recognized that. So we helped them academically because we're really strong with that, and feel like academics is the key to success for African American children. So we were really adamant that the children needed to learn stuff like the ABC, to count really early. So in that era, we were supportive, and we kept the children when she had to go on appointments, or she was doing something that, or she needed some time off. We kept the children for her while she takes some time off on her own.
So she relocates to Florida, and she has this little girl. And at what point were you contacted to say that Patty, who you call Patty, needed your help and your support?
I think she was about 2 years old, a little bit over 2 when she came back to Connecticut. She called and said she was homeless and needed to relocate to Connecticut. She came to Connecticut, but she had came because she had a debt. One of her child had also died. Oh. And she was given some money behind the debt. It was an accidental debt, so she was awarded some monies. So when she did come back to Connecticut, she did have some funding, and she got her own apartment, but she needed a lot of support. We realized that she was deteriorating fast in terms of her mental health. And she could not keep the housing, nor could she keep the funding that she had. She just blew through it really fast. Then she moved in with my twin sister, who told her that she could stay with her as long as she was trying to, get employment. And she was there for about 60 days, and she wasn't trying to find any employment. And the relationship kind of got soured from that. So when my sister asked her to leave, I felt really bad, and I told her that I would keep Patty at night. So she would drop Patty off at my house around 6 or 7 o'clock, and then pick her up around 8 or 7:30 before I leave for work. And then I guess they just, hang around Hartford until it was time to come back to Bloomfield to my house to drop her off at night. So I would give her her bath, or she would tell me that she already gave Patty a bath, and I would just tuck her in for the night.
So at this point, Mom was homeless, but she was making
homeless.
Sure that Patty had a safe place to be while she tried to figure everything out.
Yes.
And she didn't have any other children that were of age that needed her at that time. It was just Patty?
So the other kids were already in either their father's custody or in the DCF system in Florida.
Oh, okay. So now you're caring for Patty, and Patty's visiting with the mom, and this was an arrangement that the two of you had, as family-like arrangement that you had. So at what point did you realize that you needed to provide more care to Patty?
So, we went out one night, it was raining, it was almost really cold, and I came back and she was in my garage. That's Mom. I was really concerned because, I realized that her mental health was deteriorating. The following day, I handed Patty over to her, and then she kind of disappeared from us. And then I received a call from DCF maybe a month and a half or so later, asking if I could consider taking Patty on an emergency basis because Mom was seeking help from DCF in placing Patty. Oh. And so it took me a while to agree because I just, had gone through so much with Mom trying to help her, and she wasn't receptive to the care. And I know mental health is real. I understand all of that. But I still think that, she could have done some things to secure housing and do a little bit better for herself. And it took me about 3 days to tell DCF, yes, I would get involved with Patty again. And so I think the work at the time was Dante, and he brought her over, and I just could not believe the state that she was in. And my heart broke and melted at the same time. And I decided that I needed to step in and fill a gap for Patty at that time.
So, going back to those 3 days when you waited and were really contemplating if you had the room in your heart and your home for Patty to come back, what made you make the call and say, yes, bring her to my home?
Dante was persistent. To be honest with you, he kept on calling and said, you're like family to her. She's all you have. You have to step in. And I just, I said, I have to think about it. Call me again tomorrow. And I said, call me at 4 o'clock, and he'll call me 5 minutes to 4. And I said, on the third day, I said, okay, I will have her back. And he brought her over.
I read a quote in an interview that you had given, and you said, "I felt a powerful need to care for her." And that was when you saw her and you saw that she really needed your help and your support, and as did her mom.
Yes.
Because you were somebody that her mom truly trusted and admired and valued that relationship that you had with her daughter, and how brave of her mom for going to GCF and seeking those difficult services that she knew that we could provide, but it's a letting go in some respects. So you bring Patty into your home, and it's temporary. You're going to be caring for Patty until mom can, really get the help and support she needs to strengthen her parenting. And you cared for Patty for several years?
For 4 years. 4 years and a couple months before the adoption came through.
And does mom and Patty still have a relationship right now?
Initially, mom and Patty had a relationship, and then it just broke down. And I think DCF did all that they could to accommodate mom and provided all kinds of services for mom. I just think that mom wasn't ready to make the move to the next step. And during those 4 years, I extended offers for mom to call and say goodnight to Patty and probably read a book. And throughout those 4 years, she never did.
So she was just not in the place. So maybe as time goes on, she may, find that place to be re-engaged with Patty. So what was it like being a foster parent? For any of our viewers who may be watching our show right now, and they're kind of thinking, I'm interested in being a foster parent, but I don't really think that I can do it. What positive words can you share so that people who may be thinking about fostering, and there's such a need, will step forward to say, I can do it?
I had really supportive workers. Heather was the best. She heard me when I spoke, when I said I needed resources for Patty. She said, okay, what is it that you need? Did you find anywhere yet? Did you find someone that you are interested in placing her with for those services? And we worked hand in hand just to make sure Patty had a wraparound services that she needed whenever she needed it. And that for me was important, knowing that my voice was being heard and Patty's concerns were taken seriously.
And that's wonderful. And you're a part of our team. So, we value what our foster parents are saying, because even though that child may be on Heather's caseload, you're the one who's seeing this child and watching her grow and develop and seeing what her needs are. So I'm glad that I know Heather, and I'm glad that you had that relationship with her. She really is a phenomenal social worker.
She is.
Yes. So for anybody watching, you feel that with a solid relationship with your social worker, supports can be provided.
Anytime. I mean, I had Heather's number. I called her when I needed her. She never not responded. I texted her when I needed her. I shared little snippets of what was going on with Patty when she had good moments, when she had bad moments. And Heather was always encouraging and always willing to listen and go the extra miles. So I really appreciated the work that Heather did to move Patty into my home permanently.
So at what point was it decided that Patty would stay with you?
Wow, it was the growth that Patty was making, and I knew that. And Patty kind of embodies my energy, and I was seeing little things in Patty that reminded me of me.
Yeah.
And when she did little things, and my son was like, "What is she doing? She's doing it like you." I said, there is no way that this little girl could go anywhere else, and I would feel comfortable letting her out of my home. So at that, I just felt like I needed to be there for her. I remembered how fragile she was when she came in my house, and I saw the growth. And I just everybody that has been in her life, from school all the way to the community, to church, to my family, everybody expressed the desire for me to keep her. And to ensure that she was going to be safe, just not today, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And I knew that I could have offered her that level of support and the love that she needed to thrive.
So you really had a village of support from the school and in your church, like you said. So tell us about Patty. Tell us, you can brag, you have bragging rights.
My baby is just a miracle. She walks in a room and the room lights up. She wants to get things, correct. She takes her time on her schoolwork. She's just a loving child. I just can't imagine my world without her at this moment.
And you have a son, you do? And how is the relationship between your son and your daughter?
I have a son and a dog at home, and the relationship is really great. Patty thinks that Coco is her baby.
Oh, really?
And Coco thinks that Patty is her sister.
Oh, what kind of dog is Coco?
It's a standard poodle.
Oh, one of my favorite breeds. I was raised with standard poodles, so I know how smart and how loving they can be, and how important it is for a child to be raised with an animal and to understand that love. So what's the relationship like between your son and your daughter?
Very good. My son and Patty and her brother, the relationship is very tight. Whenever she tries to leave the house in the morning without saying goodbye, he's like, "Where are you going without my hug?"
Oh.
So, they just get along. There's a gap in terms of the age difference, but you wouldn't know when they decided to play a prank on me or to take up for each other.
Yes. Well, it's always so nice to have an older brother.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about the adoption experience. I know that it was quite different. And, of course, it was virtual because of the state of COVID that we were in at the time and continue to be. But I understand that Patty had a lot of support from her classmates, and her school teachers, and that school community. Can you share with our viewers a little bit about that experience?
Well, when I told her teacher that I was going to adopt her, she said, "You're not doing this without me."
Oh.
And I said, "Well, you're invited." And she said, "Can I bring the class?" And I said, "It's going to be virtual, but I'll ask Heather if that is appropriate for you to do." And Heather said yes. And I said, "Okay, they can all come." But not only was her class there, the workers that assisted her along the way, her journey, they were there. Folks from the village were there. Folks from my church, her Sunday school teacher was there. My best friend, Patrine Davison, would not have missed it. My other friend, Marie McGregor, she was also there. And my sister was there as well. So everyone that was a part of her journey wanted to be there, whether it was virtual or in person.
Well, I think that's such a powerful statement because they saw what she did to brighten your life.
Yes.
And they had a part in raising her, whatever that role was, and for them to be there. So was it a Zoom screen where they each were able to log in and be a part of that adoption experience?
Yes, the classroom did it on a whole, but everybody else logged in individually.
And were any of the kids in the classroom able to say anything or participate in that adoption?
At the end, the judge asked them if they had anything to say, and they said, "Congratulations." But Patty insisted on going back to school for the rest of the day, and they had an ice cream social waiting for her when she got there. So, she said she felt honored and happy that she had friends that could celebrate that event with her as well.
That must have been a wonderful experience for all of you.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and I think that, her even wanting to go back to school and being so connected to her school community, I think that speaks volumes for what you've done. I think that, what you've explained to us on our show today is what commitment and love and nurturance can do for a child and how they can truly bloom. She came to you fragile and broken because her mom was in a place of really struggling with mental health and couldn't give her what she needed, but she was so brave and she was so courageous to turn to DCF for that help and support. And then you came to be, and how wonderful it was for her mom and for Patty to have had a relationship with you. You started to nurture that relationship by being her caretaker just at night, not even realizing what this was going to develop into. And now you're a mother of 2 children.
Yes. I call her my little flower in the garden because she's just such a bright spot. Whenever she walks in the room, it's just Patty all day long. It's been a journey, but one I would never change anything about, given what the little girl that I'm now seeing brightening the lives of many individuals. She's such a kind student at school. the month that we closed out the adoption, she was a student of the month for her class. So, everything just comes in full circle for Patty. And we just wish her the best academically. I'm really in tune to that. And I just want her to be happy and feel like she's a part of the family. One of the things that she pointed out when I told her that I was going to adopt her, she said to me, now I feel like I'm a part of a family. And I said, do you mind if I change your last name? And she started crying and said, no, I really feel like I'm a part of your family. So that broke my heart, but also gave me hope that this little girl at 7 years old know the difference between belonging and not belonging.
And you helped her to feel like she belonged exactly where she was placed.
Yes.
And that name, and changing that name, and all those formal proceedings that may not seem important, they are important.
They are.
And she is your daughter, and clearly you gave her that room to grow and that safe feeling to be able to morph into who she really was, and with the greatest potential.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Oh, I'm sure.
More to come with Miss Patty.
I know we're going to be showing some beautiful pictures from that adoption event, that the Zoom screen, as well as a beautiful picture of the two of you, and one where she's posing so beautifully on her staircase, where I love how you have etched all of those quotes on the stairs. I think that you really embody positive love and beautiful energy. And I'm happy for her happy ever after story.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being on our show today.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone who watched. We now invite you to watch a video about a child who needs a forever family. Thank you.
I like to draw. I like fashion. I like to read. I used to like to roller skate. I still do, but I'm kind of scared to do it on my own. I ice skate. I like to go to amusement parks. Even though I'm scared of heights, I still go on roller coasters. I want to be a pediatrician because I like kids, but I'm kind of leaning on the side where I want to be an FBI agent. My favorite subject in school is math. I do well in all subjects, but my favorite subject out of that is math. And my favorite specials, which are basically like gym, art, music. Mine has to be art because I'm an art person. Being Puerto Rican is important to me because it makes me who I am. I'm bilingual, but I can understand Spanish more than I speak Spanish. I like Puerto Rican music, but I'm more of a hip-hop person. I like animals because they're cute and cuddly. It's kind of like therapeutic. I was sad one day and my cat Poochie, I was crying and he came, I was like this and he came under me and he cheered me up. The type of family that I like, it really doesn't matter if it's mom, dad, mom, dad. I would like to stay connected with my siblings. What I'm basically looking for is a loving, giving, and supportive home, and if I get that, I give it back. What makes me special is my personality and just how I'm caring, and I give people a bunch of chances. No matter what you do, I will still give you a chance. The nicest thing that somebody said to me is that I'm beautiful just the way I am.
Riverview Apartments is Bristol's two-time beautification award-winning residence community for adults age 55 and older. They offer 1 or 2 bedroom apartments with modern appliances, air conditioning, wall-to-wall carpet, and tiled floors. Both heat and hot water are included. Riverview also offers a wide range of activity rooms that include a billiard parlor and a spacious community room. It is handicap accessible with safe, secure parking for tenants and ample off-street parking for visitors. 860-940-6757 or riverviewbristol.com.